Hey everybody, Ben here for the Bonehead podcast, and welcome to Special Teams Sunday. So every week we get together and have a look at some of the best unofficial teams in Blood Bowl. So we've already taken a deep dive on all the teams available in Blood Bowl 2020, whether it's from the rulebook, Teams of Legend PDF, or the expanded NAF teams. And now what we're doing is we're going hunting for some of the other teams out there that we think are really worth playing. So some of these teams are going to be from Fumble. So the Were team is the one we're going to be looking at today, and that is very much a Fumble Secret League team. The Secret League is an awesome place. You can play online. There's about 90 teams, and they're just awesome. You've seen them if you've seen any of the series before, and if you saw any of our Season 2 of 7 Super Series, you'll have seen a few there as well. They're just very creative teams, and it's just another way to play. So we are going to be taking a look at those teams, and today is one of Blood Tithe Ben's favourites. So you would have heard about this on the podcast a couple of times. He ran it at Tombstone. He brought it to Mega Bowl. We've seen them in 7 Super Series Season 2. Now we're going to take a deep dive into the Were team. Okay, so the Were team is a team of were animals. So we got Werecats, we got Werewolves, and we got Werebears. So the kind of crux on this team is a high agility, low strength lineman, paired with up to 4 werewolves, and those are the werewolves of renown that you will know about from necromantic teams. On top of that, thank you, Windows, you get 2 Werebears, which are, as Ben would describe them, as kind of trolls, kind of softer trolls, and they work really well together. So the best way to describe this team is just that it is quite a glass cannon. The linemen are fantastic. Okay, movement 7, ag 4. This is all Blood Bowl 2016 rules. Fumble hasn't transferred over to 2020. They're looking at 2020 versions for these teams, but they're not finalised yet. The second they are finalised, we will go back and review, because we want to use some of these teams at tournaments. We've done it before, and we will definitely do it again, because more teams is more Blood Bowl, and more Blood Bowl is more better. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a bit of a dive into each one of these player types, talk about what's good about them, what's not so good about them, have a look at a roster for you, and then really just talk about how great the Were team is. First up, we've got the Werecats. So these are the linemen. This is 0 to 16 positional. 50k, okay? I think 50k is an absolute bargain for these guys. Movement 7, strength 2, I'll grant you, ag 4, and armor 7. That alone is an incredible stat line, okay? I'm a Skaven coach, you may have heard. Movement 7, like it. Strength 2 sucks. Ag 4 is amazing. Armor 7 is amazing. So you lose a strength, but you gain an agility. And on top of that, you get jump up as well, which I think is based around the fact that cats always tend to land on their feet. Well, when it comes to the Werecat, this jump up means that every single lineman would make a great runner or catcher in any other team. Like, absolutely superb. And these guys get general and agility on a normal level up. Strength and passing on a secondary. So, yeah, alright, you've got no skills. But when you're Ag 4, so in New World, Ag 2+, and Movement 7, you are getting out of dodge most of the time. Now, these guys absolutely excel when you chuck a couple. If a couple of them survive, okay, you can do the standard lineman thing and give them kick. Kick for the Were team is very good. But each one of these guys that gets dodge becomes a legitimate scoring threat. This is the lineman element of it, okay? This is the worst it gets in this team. If you had a team of all this, you'd be just fine. Now, the downside is the fact that they are strength 2 and armor 7. So they do, if you can catch them, you can kill them quite easily. And I think you may have heard Ben and Milton, friend of the show, have a bit of a rivalry, because the Were team here that Ben put together and the ethereal team that Milton took faced off against each other at Tombstone, and Ben's Were team was slaughtered to a man, basically, because the ethereal team has got a ton of stab, and you know what? He's vulnerable to stab, armor 7. So he was blocking him, he was stabbing him, and he almost pitch wiped him. So Ag 4 is amazing. Movement 7 pairing up with it is great. Jump up is a great freebie skill. Strength 2, armor 7 does make you vulnerable. But the Were team has werewolves. Up to 4 werewolves can be taken. Now these are very expensive pieces. 120k a pop means that you are going to struggle to get too many of them. Now this is Blood Bowl 2016 prices. We'll probably see them go up. I think are they 125 now? I think they're 125 in the new world. Anyway, 0 to 4 werewolves, movement 8, strength 3, edge 3, armor 8, claw, frenzy, and regeneration. General and agility, so you don't get strength access. So you're not going to go build any mighty blow bombs to start with, but these guys are fantastic. They are some of the best players in the game. They're some of the most exciting players in the game. Yeah, Edge 3 isn't great, but Edge 3 is pretty good when you need to do almost anything, to be fair. But movement 8, strength 3, frenzy, and the fact they become blodgers as soon as they get what's the old world? 16 SPP? Okay, 5. A few games in, these guys are getting dodge or block, whichever you want. Now, Ben is running a were team in our Fumble League at the moment, and he's now got up to 4 werewolves. All of them have got block. 2 of them have got blodge. So they become real beasts. So the werewolf is a fantastic positional. They perform the role of the blitzers in this team. The kind of all-stars. You've got linemen that can do everything. And you've got these blitzers that can just be your removal and movement 8 scoring threats. And the team even gets big guys as well. Big guys. So 0 to 2 Werebears can be taken. They're 110k, which is a bargain. Maybe a bargain. Movement 4, strength 5. Okay, pretty typical for a big guy. Edge 1 and then armor 8. So a little bit soft for a big guy. Really stupid, mighty blow, thick skull and grab. So Ben likes to liken them to trolls. They're the same kind of cost. They're the same speed, they're the same strength. They've got really stupid. They do perform basically much of the same role as the troll. And as you guys will know, Ben loves trolls. So when it comes to Werebears, they just provide muscle for the team. In 11s, where you've got the line of scrimmage, you've got that line of slaughter, having a werebear on the line, it's strength 5. It's going to be hard to block. And because it's got mighty blow, it's going to give you a little bit extra removal as well. The difficult thing with this team is that a werebear and a werewolf are very similarly costed. So when we have a look at our roster later, they are essentially interchangeable. If you want to go heavy, you can take more werebears. If you want to go strikey, you can take more werewolves. I like the flexibility in the build. Ben is 6 games in. 6 games in now. He's got 2 werebears and 4 werewolves. So he's 5 games in, I think he managed to complete his lineup. And when you've got 2 strength 5 pieces backed up with 4 frenzy claws, movement 8 werewolves, you kind of forget that the core team is vulnerable. Now at lower TV side, when you're focusing more on the line, when you don't get so much of this big punch, but you can build it. You will get it, especially if you're running a league environment, and the Werebears do a superb job of just doing what big guys do. Okay, so let's have a look at a starting roster here for the Were team. 8 Werecats, 2 Werewolves, and 1 Werebear brings you to 11 players. Now they are they're sitting at 60k for rerolls, so this is, you get a lot of flexibility with your starting roster. Doesn't look like it, but it does. So what we've got here is those 11 players plus those 3 rerolls and an apothecary brings you to TV 980, and this is where the flexibility can come. So you can interchange werebears and werewolves because you've got 20k left over, so you can bump up that werebear to your 3rd werewolf. You can drop the apothecary and a werewolf and take the apothecary and a reroll and take all 4 werewolves. However, because of the way leagues work, being able to take that 3rd reroll early is good. Now, where your werecats are going to be doing most of the ball handling and stuff like that, on a 2+, you're not going to need those rerolls all that much. Okay, if you need to take a dodge with them, they're probably going to be okay. And if you need to pick up the ball, they're probably going to be okay. So those rerolls are just there as a safety net. You're going to be blocking here with no combat skills. So you do need those rerolls, but you do have the flexibility, like I said, to drop that, drop the apothecary, drop the werebear, and that gives you enough to take all 4 werewolves, and that is pretty tasty. I like the all-round roster here. You can save up and buy, and like I said, game 5, game 6, Ben's running all 4 werewolves and 2 werebears as well, and is able to just round out that team with a unnecessary amount of combat power. So miniatures wise, this is a tricky one. So the Were team has got the werewolves. You can pick up werewolves from the necromantic team now, which is really, really good, but there's also a ton of werewolf miniatures out there. The werecats can be represented by anything that looks strength 2 and high agility. So Ben here, we've got his team from 7 Super Series, or from Tombstone. He's just got a bunch of D&D miniatures and used those. He found, again, I think some plastic D&D miniatures to use as his, he only got 1 werebear for the tabletop, but The miniatures are out there, and this is what I love about some of these special teams, is because there's only 3 positionals. You can do this in whatever theme you like, whatever you feel like is going to be kind of appropriate to have a strength 2 movement 7 piece and a big guy that has mighty blow and grab. I mean, this team can be represented by almost any set of 3 miniatures, which is so good, and the templating is superb. They've got 1 key player that already exists. They've backfilled with some really good linemen. Now, those linemen do die in droves, but they also score very well. Movement 7, Edge 4, okay? They're all Wood Elf linemen, strength busted Wood Elf linemen. And then those 2 big guys as well. So this is from 7 Super Series Season 2. So if you want to see the team in action, go and watch the series. They're great. The Lycans are great fun. This is against the Deathstalkers, which is a Marak team, which is very much like Tomb Kings. So if you want to see how Tomb Kings work in 7s and how the Were team works in 7s, you can watch this. When it comes to the Were team, if you want to see it in full action, as this comes out yesterday, the podcast 67 would have come out. Ben and I actually play a game, Human Nobility against his Were team and his maxed out Were team with 4 wolves and 2 bears. So again, if you want to get a really good idea of how well this team can perform, go and watch either of these 2 games. And the reason this team comes up so much is because it is one of Ben's favourites. Those linemen just do fantastic things, and the werewolves and the bears together have a great bunch of combat power. It's very much 2 different elements of the team. They don't combine brilliantly because they are so very different, and that's the challenge to coaching them, and that's why Ben likes them so much, and it's why I fear playing them so much, because you do not, with movement 8 and Edge 4 on the team, you don't get away with much, and Ben is a good coach, so it's a good challenge. Anyway guys, thank you for joining me to have a look at another one of the best unofficial teams in Blood Bowl. Let me know in the comments below what other teams you want us to have a look at. The Araby one is high on the list. I need to get some games in playing it, but we're going to continue going through these teams, and then we'll probably be looking at some homebrewed ones as well, because hey, wherever the good teams are, that is where we will go. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the show even further, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out. Or come and join us in our Patreon, link below, where you get early access to our content and monthly competitions. See you later.